Chapter 3. Trapped. Darkness. That was what surrounded him. Chomper left in the between space, wandering alone. He tried to take control, did his best to gain back his mortal form, yet he was unable to get into contact with his dark side. It was hard to think what his dark side was up to, wondering how Ruby and the kids were. Did they think he was dead? Did they think he abandoned them? It wore on his soul, made him slowly lose faith in finding a way out, which wasn't good. "Mom, Dad, can you hear me?" His voice echoed, yet none responded. Sinking to the floor, he gazed down at the water, seeing it settle before seeing his image looking back at him. Then, behind him, he saw someone appear, followed by another. Twisting to see who it was, he found Charity and Chance, his sharp-toothed parents. He scrambled to his feet, looking them over, hoping they were there to aid him. "Mom! Dad! Boy, am I glad to see you!" They opened their arms to hold him, Chomper letting out a breath of relief. "I missed you both." "Chomper, we're glad you're well." "But I'm not well, Mom. My mortal body has been possessed by my dark side." Chomper leaned back from their hold. "I need to know how to defeat him." She brushed his head and smiled at him tenderly. "I led you to the unknown, and your other parents. Now it's time you and your father talked." Chomper glanced past his mother to his father, the older male holding an unsure expression, one that matched Chomper's own face. "Mom, Dad and I never really talked. Not like you and I. We just never saw eye to eye." "Trust me, it's for the best." Planting a kiss to his head, she left his side. "Good luck, you two." With Charity gone, Chomper and Chance stood in awkward silence, both unsure what to say. Chomper rubbed his arm, looking toward his feet, opening his muzzle only to close it again. There was so much to say, so many years that had passed, and the worst part was they had all the time in the world. "For the first time I finally have reason to see. I'm a floating seed far from my family tree. But now it's time to grow. Will I find out who I am? Will you see me and remember? Ayo, ayo, I can take it, here I stand. Won't you look in my eyes? In the moment we're together, I can smile, but something is missing inside. For the first time I finally have reason to see. Would I stand in this place, hold him like the father he needs? Or would it be hollow? If he finds out who I am, he'd be lost now more than ever. Ayo, ayo, and the damage would be done. Could I live with that now, when we know it'll all be over? I can't hide that something is missing inside. The absence of a father was tough on Chomper, and Chance knew that. Knew he was guilty, was to blame for that. Would Chomper forgive him? Would they be able to mend the bond that was never strong to begin with? Chance stood tall and made the first move, closing the space between them. "There were many things I never got to say in my time on Earth. So much left unsaid, undone. A father is supposed to protect, provide for his family. And I did what I thought was best. Our time on the island, I thought I could mold you, make you tough, a fighter. No matter how hard I tried, you were stubborn, would question my tactics, find a way to get out of a tough situation. It was both annoying yet interesting. At the end of the day, I realized there was no changing you. You were who you were, and I needed to accept that. So I let you go, to grow up in the Great Valley, where you would be safe from Redclaw, from those who would harm you, all because I wasn't strong enough to protect you. Trembling slightly, it was the first time Chance ever spoke so openly, so freely, the words sinking in and bringing tears to Chomper's eyes. Why didn't you say this before? Why did you push me? Why wasn't I good enough for you? Were you ashamed of me? For the longest time, I believed you were so disappointed in me. You wanted me out of your sight, out of the mysterious beyond, away from all the Sharpteeth. Oh no, son. That's not it. When your mother mentioned we'd have an egg, I couldn't believe it. Yet there you were, our son. As you grew, I noticed you were different from other Sharpteeth children. You spoke Leaf Eater before you spoke Sharptooth. I questioned your mother, and she told me that the sky beings helped create you, and that you were only half ours. The other half was an unknown creature, not of our world, beings who came from the sky. At first, I was scared, because I didn't know if there was enough Sharptooth in you to survive the mysterious beyond. It was then I took it upon myself to make you a Sharptooth, no matter the cost. Had I known it caused such a space between us, I never would have pushed you. With a small smile, Chance's eyes were moist. It wasn't until I died and saw all your accomplishments, how you found a mate, had kids, lived a full life. I was so proud of you, son, so immensely proud. You did more in your life than I ever did in mine. The best thing I did was help create you. That was my legacy. You. And now, here you are, the alpha over the Sharpteeth, the most prestigious position there is. With a sniff, Chomper felt tears stream down his face. You really think that? You aren't ashamed of me? Never. Actually, there is something I need to tell you that I should have told you years ago. Chance placed a hand on Chomper's shoulder. Remember how Redclaw stalked us? Who could forget it? I blame myself for that. Why? It was me he was after, not you. Redclaw knew if I grew, I'd be the one to kill him, Chomper admitted. Do you remember your grandparents? Chomper thought for a moment. Yeah, Mom's parents and your mother. Yes, my father was absent through my life. I didn't know who he was till I was much older and had left the nest. Chance took a deep breath. When I found out, I wish I'd never known who he was. Who was he? Chomper looked Chance straight in the eye. His name was Dementus, or better known as Sharptooth. The realization was like a slap to the face, Chomper feeling dizzy suddenly. It couldn't be. It simply couldn't be. Yet maybe it was all a bad dream, a very long nightmare that Chomper had yet to wake up from. That was it. Maybe he'd wake up next to his smart and loving mate, Ruby. Their kids, Fang and Claw, would be there too, along with Ruby's parents and his trusty friends, Screech and Thud. Chomper shut his eyes, hoping once he opened them, he'd be back in the real world and on his island home. Yet when he reopened them, he saw his father and the between space. Darn it. It wasn't a dream. He was stuck, and that meant only one thing. His grandfather was in fact the vicious Sharptooth. But the question was, why did Chance take so long to share such information with him?